So you're thinking about moving to San Diego, but you're not quite sure. You know, you've heard all the great stuff about our weather and about the beaches, but that's not what we're talking about today. Today, we're going to talk about the top 7 reasons why you should definitely pack up your stuff, move your kids to our sunny San Diego, and we're getting after it right now. What's up, amazing people? I'm Liz 𝐒𝐹 here with the MortgageLiz team located out of San Diego, California. And on this channel, all we talk about is what it's like to eat, sleep, live, and play here in San Diego. And if that's something that you may be curious about, and even talking about the home loans, this is definitely the channel for you. Make sure that you click that subscribe button and tap that little bell to make sure that you're reminded every single time that we release a new video, because we do that every single week. And definitely there's a lot of information on all of our videos. And you know what? Honestly, a lot of our clients are reaching out to us every single day that find us on YouTube and are interested of moving to San Diego, whether they're already living in San Diego or relocating from another area. And it's absolutely amazing to continuously get phone calls every single day, whether it's a call, a text, or an email with clients that are moving to San Diego. And if you're thinking about making that move to San Diego, you definitely need to give us a call, send us a text, or even an email, whatever is easiest for you. We would definitely love to help you, and we got your back when moving to San Diego. Now, let's get after those top 7 things I was talking about. Not the weather, not the San Diego beaches. Those are amazing things, but there's so much more to San Diego than just the beaches and just the weather. So on to number 1. But wait, there's more. Before we get to that number 1, let's talk about the San Diego. So San Diego, unlike a lot of the rest of the country, we don't have snow. So right now in the middle of December, we have cold weather, yes, but it's not like what a lot of the other areas, a lot of the other states have snow and lots of it. That's not common here in San Diego. Because our December here in San Diego is still pool time. I mean, my kids are actually still in the pool, in the jacuzzi, and the regular pool on a regular basis in December. So unlike a lot of the other areas, this is still the time to be able to hang out and not stay inside because of the snow. So let's talk a little bit about the city. So San Diego in itself actually has 1.5 million people that live in San Diego, but the county in itself has over 3 million people that live in San Diego. So to say that we have a lot of traffic or just maybe a lot of cars and a lot of people, that is an understatement. But that is not a reason for you not to move to San Diego. With most days around 70, 75 degrees in San Diego, and even in December where it's closer to like 65, 70 degrees, December is actually a really good time if you're thinking about moving to San Diego. So why is that? Because a lot of our tourists are kind of gone. Like that's typically the summer season, so June, July, August, and sometimes even September, depending on when school starts all throughout the year. But during December, we kind of have a tendency to settle down. So you will find the market that doesn't have as many buyers during that time frame, and as well as many sellers. Just because, you know, we're all up in the festivities, we definitely want to be able to bring out our tree, put up our lights, and all of our, extra Thanksgiving and turkey stuff too. So sometimes when you're thinking about moving, this may be the good time to move, which would be in December. But even in the December time, when it's a little bit colder, we're still technically voted here in San Diego number 57 on the bestplaces.net out of everywhere to be able to live. So I mean, still technically, even though we don't have a lot of sunny time per se in December, it's still a great time to be able to buy and to be able to move here to San Diego. Okay, so you knew I was going to talk about it, even though this wasn't going to be the main topic of the reasons of why you want to move to San Diego. But for number 1, we're going to be talking about, yes, technically speaking, the weather. So that is really honestly one of the biggest reasons why people move here to San Diego, because of the great weather that we have. Because seriously, we were just talking about December where our weather is still in the 70s and still my kids can still go in the pool. I mean, it's still a great time to be able to move here and live here. But during the weather, just to be very transparent, we don't have seasons here when it comes to San Diego. We don't have really any like winter per se. Like it gets cold, and yes, by 75 degrees, we definitely need a sweater and even a blanket and definitely a fire, because for me, it gets a little too cold. But you know, if we were to go to, let's say, Big Bear, which is about 2 hours north of here, at that point, it's like 30, 40 degrees, sometimes even 20 degrees. That is really cold, and you definitely need to be buttoned up and with a whole bunch of extra layers. And they still also have snow there all throughout the year, sometimes more than others. But here in San Diego, it's not like that. So we don't have that weather where you can have snow during the winter. However, you can drive about 2 hours to get to the winter time where you can now see the snow, which is in Big Bear or even in Mammoth Mountain. So enough about the winter and the coldness. Here in San Diego, like I said, we got sunshine and we got it all the time. So that's also the reason kind of why we pay that extra sunshine tax, okay? So with our weather, we do have pretty comfortable times throughout the year. So with that, in San Diego, we do also have hot weather. And depending on where you are in the city of San Diego or outside of the county, or technically inside of the county of San Diego, it can get really hot. So depending on whether you're sitting in Carlsbad or you're in Escondido or you're just in the basic area of San Diego, the hottest points of our area is going to be like June, July, and even August. So June is going to get up to those high 70s, 80s, even the 90s, as well as July 4th weekend is typically a hot time where we're hitting the beaches for sure. And then of course in August, that's when we start softball season. So that is definitely going to start getting in that hot weather. And we even get the hot weather when we're actually starting to play winter ball games, which is going to be like August to September. So not only about, let's say, October does it start kind of like dying down with the not so hot time. And so you don't have to be, with your little fan trying to make sure that you can sustain our hot weather on our Sunday double headers. It still is really important that you're aware that throughout the entire year, we do sort of have seasons, but more so just kind of a different weather. We just don't have like our leaves. They actually fall, but not like as much as any other area. Like they do fall and they're on the ground, but it's not the same. And as well as the snow did, technically speaking, it did actually snow here. I've lived in San Diego my entire life. And when I was in elementary school, well, that was like 20, 30 years ago. It did actually snow, and it was when I was in elementary school. I remember actually being able to, walk home. Technically, it was across the street, and it was snowing. And so that is not something that happens very commonly here in San Diego. However, we do get hail, and when we get hail, it's kind of detrimental to our roads. It's not something that we really know how to drive here in San Diego when it comes to the rain. As many of you may know, one of the things that I do know about a lot is car pulls. My husband's a lineman, and so you end up finding out that a car pull is something when somebody actually hit their car into a pole because they weren't driving safely. Well, when it rains here in San Diego, that happens a lot, because we forget what it's like to have a slippery road. And so we kind of drive a lot faster because honestly, we're just kind of used to the sun. So when does it actually rain here? So technically it does actually rain. So, talking about those car pulls, but the typical time that you're going to see that it rains is when what we'd like to call May gray. So May gray is, you have your cloudy skies. However, May gray is not technically when you're going to find that rain that's coming down on our softball fields and on the roads. So that is most likely going to be kind of like late February, early March. That's typically the time that, for me, softball season happens. And then you end up finding all of our softball fields that are completely wet. And then we can't even have practice. And now we're all fighting over the batting cages. So during that time, I would say late February, early March, that's more so when you're going to find the water on the ground, that rain. You are still going to find even rain at the end of the year, like closer to October and November. But don't get me wrong, we do not get a lot of rain here in San Diego. Yes, we get rain, and yes, we have car accidents because of that rain, but it's typically about 12 to 15 inches of rain that you get the entire year. So as much as this is not common for us San Diegans, here in Escondido specifically, you will find even people carrying those little water things to see how much water we get, and we get that centimeter of water, and they're trying to then look at how much water and rain we got during those 2 days, because I'm saying it's not common here in San Diego. So of course, the things that like make it more interesting, like those little things to be able to add up that rain to figure out how much we got, to us, that is something interesting and something to watch. And yes, we definitely do like those posts and then share them so that we can see how much rain there is here in San Diego too. Okay, so we have talked all about the weather. Even though I said I wasn't going to talk just about the weather, yes, there are other amazing reasons why you definitely need to move to San Diego. The other one would be the innovation as to how many businesses are coming to San Diego. And yes, during this pandemic and during this COVID, we're seeing the fact that, we can work from anywhere. Technically, there are businesses also leaving San Diego, but there is still a lot of innovation and there's a lot of business to be able to have here in San Diego. So San Diego has always been home to Qualcomm and Illumina, and then to Dexcom. Don't quote me on the way that you say those things because I may have gotten them wrong, but it's always been home to those companies. They are also in talks that they're going to have Amazon and Apple also here in San Diego. So that's another reason to, of course, move here, because the amount of jobs that are going to come from those two businesses. And let's not forget about the breweries. Did you know that San Diego is known for our breweries? Yes, basically our spots where we drink beer. It is so common to actually see that there are so many of them. And I mean, not just like sporadic just because it's downtown. No. I mean like all throughout San Diego, you find them. In Escondido, in San Marcos, there's Stone here in Escondido. Used to be in San Marcos, but now in Escondido. And I mean the beautiful, delicious beer that comes out of those spots. I mean, you definitely need to check them out when it comes to San Diego. So of course, if you're looking for an employment, looking for a job, that may be somewhere to hit up because of the fact that there are so many here in San Diego. So just a little statistic for you. In comparison to the US national average, unemployment is actually at a 3.7%. And in San Diego, it's actually at 3.4%. Even though that's not a dramatic difference, it's still better. So again, giving us a little bit of benefit here on our unemployment when it comes to San Diego. Because our job growth has been on the positive side, actually increasing in the last year, about 1.4+% over the last year. So even during this pandemic, yes, we have been going through a lot of details, but based off of bestplace.net and then niche.com, you can see that we still have great jobs here in San Diego. So it's definitely something to think about if you're thinking about finding a better setting your spot to be able to raise your family at. So just think about it. And then let's not forget about the young professionals in America. Technically speaking, we are rated, again, number 42 out of 338, again, based off of bestplaces.net, that we are the best place to live for young professionals. So another really great information that you need to consider. The third reason that you need to consider moving to San Diego is going to be the arts. The amount of museums that we have here in San Diego with the arts, and being able to send your kids over to maybe Balboa Park or even the Center of the Arts in Escondido for them to really get a grasp of the arts here in San Diego, or just the arts in general. There is so many places that you can go to. And let's not forget about the House of Blues, the San Diego Museum Art, the Playhouse that's located in La Jolla, or the Copley Symphony Hall and the Globe Hall. I mean, these are all amazing spots that you can definitely be able to spend the whole day and then some with your family, just checking it all out. And let's not forget about the field trips. With the kids and with my girls, one of the biggest things that you get to do is to be able to go on these field trips, not just watch it on a video in the classroom, but actually be able to go to Balboa Park or the Center of the Arts and be able to see a play or to check out the museum with all of the different fishes that come along with it, because my kid loves an aquarium. And so those are the best places to go on field trips. So one of the biggest benefits as well to live here in San Diego, yes, the schools, which we'll get to later, but also the art so that way you can go on these field trips with your kids. I mean, seriously, those are memories that you never want to give up. So we touched on this earlier, and the detail was craft beer. Were you paying attention during the time that I was talking about craft beer? Yes. And then when I was talking about the breweries, yes. Number 4 reason to be able to move here to San Diego is the breweries. Because here in San Diego, we got a lot of them. And I touched on that a little bit earlier, but if you were paying attention, let's talk about all of them that we have here in San Diego. So we got Ballast Point, we got Stone, we have Green Flash, and let's not talk about the other ones like the ciders, which are one of my favorite that you can actually find in Julian as well. So I mean, like, the options to be able to have a good drink, whether it's beer or whether it's wine, the wineries here in San Diego are amazing. So it definitely gives you some adult time where you don't have to have your kids and you definitely need a babysitter. According to Wikipedia, San Diego was actually voted craft beer capital in America, which means that we're kind of like one of the best places to come to when it comes to beer. Because back in 2018, we actually had over 155 spots of craft beer that was actually being made here in San Diego, which is definitely not common. And because this isn't common, San Diego has actually 3 of the companies that have been voted in the top 50 largest breweries in all of the United States. So we have Karl Strauss, Green Flash, and Stone Brewery. So if you may remember, we were just talking about those amazing spots. Well, they are on the top 50 list. And because beer is technically one of the biggest festivities here in San Diego, we do also have Beer Week. And Beer Week is basically a 10-day event here in San Diego where you get to try a whole bunch of different spots of different beer, of course, and then IPAs and the ciders. And so you can also find this also in downtown San Diego where you end up going for a full-on event, paying for the day, and then you get to try the different alcohol that's out there, including the IPA, the beer, including the cider, including the different wines. So it gives you the ability of being able to go check out those places without having to, break the bank and be able to buy every single one of the different alcohols that maybe you want to try, but you're not so sure whether you want to spend the $15 for the 20-ouncer or something like that. It just gives you another option. And so during Beer Week, it is definitely one of those moments where the mom and dad end up going out, leave the kids with the grandparents, and so then that way we can have a good time. Make sure that you're always using Uber or Lyft or anything else so that way you're not, making some bad decisions during that Beer Week. So I know that's a lot of talk about alcohol, but I just want to let you know, this is a kind of a great place when it comes to the beer. We were voted best craft beer capital in America for a reason. And so if you're moving here, it is definitely something to take note of. So on to number 5. And number 5 is, kind of my favorite. It's the Mexican food. Because the Mexican food in San Diego, because we are close to the border, is like kind of really good. Depending on where you go is depending on how big that burrito is going to be or how big those nachos are going to be. And for my little girl, it's going to be all about the bean burrito. So when it comes to truly the Mexican food, there is some amazing spots. Whether you're looking at Tacos El Gordo, which is down in Chula Vista and in National City, or you're thinking about going to TJ Tacos, which is technically in Escondido. The places are bar none. They're so amazing. And then let's not finish talking about, there's Cocina del Charro that is located here in Escondido. There's another spot that's in San Marcos. And then Los Charros that's in Escondido that has seriously some of the most amazing nachos you've ever tried. And then we got Mariscos Germán, which has got the shrimp cocktails, seriously, of your life. They are like the biggest, hugest shrimp you've ever seen, and they do not just give you a little bit of shrimp either. I'm talking like a big gulp, this big, talking about shrimp fully loaded. And then you have the surf and turf tacos at Mariscos Germán, where you can technically literally order 2 tacos. And the 2 tacos have the carne asada, has the shrimp, put that together, 2 tortillas, and you put that together, now you got 2 tacos. My husband literally just orders 2. And because he just orders 2, he ends up eating 4 tacos out of the 2. So I mean, like, we could go on and on about these Mexican spots that are here in Escondido, San Marcos, San Diego, downtown San Diego, Oceanside. I mean, like, seriously, there are so many yummy spots that you definitely need to be aware of. Oh, and let's not forget about Cheeto's Taco Shop right off the 15. That place, according to my daughter, has the best bean burrito, according to all of the spots that she has tried. And of course, they have some really good tacos there too. So I'm telling you, the Mexican food here in San Diego is bar none. It is absolutely amazing. And yeah, there are some spots that not so sure that you should definitely try, because I'm telling you, just like anything else, it's not all rated 5 stars. So on that same topic, we went to Texas about a year and a half ago, and don't get me wrong, for my Texans that love their Mexican food in Texas and Mexican food in California are not the same thing. Okay, so Mexican food in San Diego, you're talking about big chunks of carne asada with some really good salsa de pico, and I can't do salsa de pico. I have like really bad problems with some spice. I can't handle it. Yes, I'm weak. It's okay. But when you try the different carne asada tacos that are here in San Diego, and then we went to Texas, and it was like a Mexican style of the Mexican food in Texas. I think it was called Tex-Mex. Oh, I think it was called Tex-Mex. Sorry, I'm not a Texan and I don't know all about it. But what I do know is that the Mexican food was not the same. The Mexican food there, we end up having more of a ground beef kind of taco. So if you're coming to California, you're coming from Texas, yes, it is a higher cost of living. And technically, if I had to say so, we have better Mexican food. So you definitely want to be able to check out all the Mexican spots, get onto Yelp, and be able to check out all those 5 stars. I mean, there's a lot of them. So one thing to really be aware of, that if you are going to go to TJ Tacos or Tacos El Gordo, you want to make sure that you allot enough time. And so why am I saying this? Well, technically speaking, if you were to go eat at TJ Tacos in Escondido, you're going to find a line down the street. It's located on East Valley Parkway right before you end up getting to the old Palomar Hospital. And honestly, between the point of where Ash, which is technically San Pasqual Valley Road, meets, from there all the way down, if you're in the right-hand lane, you're going to find yourself in TJ Taco traffic at 6 o'clock. Yes, literally their line is that long. It'll wrap all the way around into the drive-thru because you got people inside and outside in the drive-thru waiting for their turn. And yes, we will wait 45 minutes. But if you're smart, you'll even order like Grubhub or Uber Eats or something like that and be able to have them drive it to you and deliver it. So then you got the food definitely being made in multiple different directions, but the lines are no joke. And the same thing applies when it comes to Tacos El Gordo, that is on the other side of San Diego, back in Chula Vista and in National City. So seriously, I'm hungry now. So I kind of want some Mexican food, but before we get there, let's move on to the next one. So you knew I was going to talk about it. Number 6 is going to be the beaches. So when it comes to San Diego, did you know that there's over 30 beaches in San Diego? And honestly, I've lived here my entire life. I don't even think I've gone to all 30 of them or 30 plus of them. So this year, that is going to be something that we're definitely going to be checking out, because there's so many beaches as I've been doing all of my research and finding out that there's so many spots that you could go and hang out on. Typically, we just go to Carlsbad, go to Oceanside. Those have been the beaches that we've always hung out at. But there's so many other places that you can go to, like Coronado Island, and find out those beaches, or go down to Del Mar. I mean, like, seriously, there are so many spots. And so depending on where you are on that coastline, whether it's on one side of the 5 or over by the 8, or closer to like the 15, but on the other side of the 78, I mean, you could technically have hotter or colder weather. However, when it comes to being for the beaches, I mean, we're not going to have like warm water. That's truly why we have solar, and we end up, heating our own pool, because when you go to the beaches, the warmest it's going to be is about 75 degrees. And then sometimes when you're talking about later, like October, November, December, January, that we were talking about, when the weather is not like at the 80s and the 90s that we were talking about earlier, the water's not going to be 75. So that's the time that you're going to want to invest in a suit for your kids, maybe even for yourself, probably for me because I'm really cold and I am a total chicken when it comes to being cold. Because when you really do go out to the ocean and go to our beaches, you're going to find that it's not as warm as expected. However, even though the water is not 80, 90 degrees and it's in that middle 70, 75, it is still a great day when you get to go to the beach, which takes you 15, 20, maybe even 30 minutes to get to. Or let's say you want to go to the mountains and then go to the beach in the morning and then go to the mountains when it's typically winter. So you could hang out at the beaches in the morning and then hop in your car, head yourself to Big Bear where maybe there could be snow in the afternoon and be there in a couple of hours. So when it comes to the beaches, there is a lot of benefits. There is a whole bunch of beautiful sand, and depending on what you're looking for, you want to make sure that you, of course, always get your parking tickets and be able to cover your fees before you actually find your spots, because there are a lot of tow-away zones when it comes to the beaches. So that's kind of a con to all the many pros of our beaches. You got to know where you're parking, and depending on where you're parking will depend on whether the car is still there in the afternoon. So just a little bit of something you got to be aware of when you're coming to go check out our beaches here in San Diego. And the one thing that you really don't hear about people talking about so much when it comes to San Diego is honestly our universities. UCSD, SDSU, then we have Cal State San Marcos. I mean, all of these universities are amazing places to raise your kids and then send them off to college. We also have a lot of community colleges like Mira Costa, Palomar. Palomar is located, they have a smaller division in Escondido, and then they have the main campus in San Marcos. And then of course you can always do online school. So I mean, there is a lot of opportunity for education when it comes to college, whether it's in the universities like SDSU, UCSD, or Cal State San Marcos, or even just our community colleges. I know myself, I actually grew up first in community college and then was about to go to Cal State San Marcos, and then you know what? Life took you on to a different direction. So depending on where you end up sending your kids or where they end up choosing to go to school, there are so many options for education when it comes to San Diego, because we have the universities and then we have some great schools in our districts of San Diego. And did you know that UCSD came in at #1 and USD at #2, and then Cal State San Marcos came in at #3 as the best colleges based off of niche.com that's stated about here in San Diego? I mean, that's really pretty amazing. So it's just really cool things that you want to know about that may be available for you and your family as you're coming and moving to San Diego. All right, amazing people. So today we were talking about all of the top 7 things that came into moving to San Diego. So why to truly come here and bring your family and raise your family here in San Diego. So we talked about the beaches, the weather, the universities, the education, which is technically about the universities, but then also talking about all of the other options like your job and the amazing innovation and the arts that are coming here and have already been here in San Diego. So truly, if you are thinking about possibly moving to San Diego, or maybe you're just relocating from one part of San Diego to the other side of San Diego, you definitely need to give us a call, send us a text, or send us an email, whatever is easiest for you, because we would love the opportunity and we definitely have your back when it comes to moving to San Diego. And honestly, every single day that we get new phone calls with clients that are thinking about making this move, it is absolutely amazing, and it is so much fun showing them all about San Diego and the great things that we love about this city that they will eventually, if not already, love about the city as well. So if you're even thinking about just a little bit moving over here to San Diego or moving into that other area, you definitely need to reach out to us. And now you're seeing all these amazing new videos that are coming up on your screen. You're definitely going to want to check out because there is so much amazing information that we talk about on this channel. Don't forget, make sure that you click subscribe because we release videos every single week talking about what it's like to eat, sleep, live, and play, and all the best home loans for you and your family. And don't forget, hit that bell because that's what's going to remind you every single time. So until next time, see you later.